Imagine standing on a frozen world where Jupiter fills the sky like a god that never looks away. Below your feet, there may be an ocean with more water than all of Earth combined. And by the end of this video, you'll understand what Europa really is beneath its beauty. Because this moon is not just mysterious, it is one of the most hostile places near us. From orbit, Europa looks silent, clean, almost pure, like a world hiding something extraordinary. And in a way, it is. Europa may contain one of the best places to search for life. But if a human ever stood here, the first real danger would already have begun. Not because the ice breaks, not because the ocean rises, not because something moves below. Europa kills in a much quieter way, through physics you cannot see and cannot negotiate with. And that is what makes this moon so fascinating, and so unforgiving at the same time. Europa is one of Jupiter's largest moons, wrapped in bright ice and scarred by dark fractures. Those fractures are not just surface detail. They are signs of stress, motion, and hidden energy. Beneath that frozen shell, scientists suspect a global ocean of liquid water. An ocean held warm by tidal forces as Jupiter's gravity flexes Europa from the inside. That possibility changes everything, because where there is liquid water, there is scientific hope. Europa may be cold on the surface, but underneath, it may be one of the most alive-looking places. Not alive in the cinematic sense, not monsters, not lights, not movement in the dark. Alive in the scientific sense. Chemistry, energy, water, and the conditions life may need. That is why Europa matters so much. It may hide a second habitable ocean in our solar system. But almost everything that makes Europa precious also makes it brutally difficult for us. Because the first thing that would kill you on Europa is not the cold. It is not the vacuum, even though the surface has almost no atmosphere at all. It is not low gravity, and it is not the darkness beneath the ice. The first thing that would kill you on Europa is radiation. And not a little radiation. Europa lives inside one of the most violent particle environments nearby. Jupiter's magnetic field traps enormous amounts of energetic charged particles around the planet. Europa moves through that radiation environment over and over, exposed to it, constantly. So if you stood on the surface, your problem would begin before you even started walking. The ice would look calm. The sky would look empty. Nothing would seem to be happening. But invisible particles would already be passing through your suit, your electronics, and your body. That is what makes Europa so frightening. It does not need drama to be lethal. The danger is silent, elegant, and already there long before your instincts notice anything wrong. You would not see a storm arriving. You would not hear a warning from the world itself. You would simply be standing in the wrong place inside the wrong planetary system. And, on Europa, that may be enough. Any serious human activity here would demand shielding, timing, and exposure limits from the very beginning. Even a small outpost would not be built for comfort. It would be built for survival under punishment. Every surface mission would become a race against cumulative damage, not just to people, but to computers, sensors, materials, and every vulnerable system outside. And that means Europa is not merely difficult. It is hostile at the level of environment itself. Even if you solve transportation, landing, and power, radiation would still dominate the mission. It would decide how long you can stay, how much you can do, and what fails first. That is why Europa is more than a cold moon. It is a beautiful surface inside a lethal machine. Jupiter makes Europa scientifically important, but also physically cruel. The same giant planet that may help keep the ocean active also floods the surface with danger, and radiation is only the first layer of the problem. Europa also has almost no atmosphere, which means no breathable air and no meaningful pressure. Outside a protected suit or habitat, your body has no negotiation with that environment. Heat is hard to keep. Exposure is immediate. Every system must carry its own survival. And unlike Earth, there is no soft buffer between you and reality out there. The surface itself looks solid, but that is part of the deception. Europa's crust may be kilometers to tens of kilometers thick, depending on the region. That means everything you truly want to study lies far below where you can easily reach. The world that matters most on Europa is hidden under a frozen shield. Above it, there is radiation, vacuum, weak sunlight, and frozen isolation. Below it, there may be chemistry, energy gradients, and maybe even habitable conditions. This is the cruel structure of Europa: death above, possibility below. The moon almost seems designed to tempt exploration and then resist it. That resistance is not theatrical. It is logistical, physical, and brutally expensive. Every meter downward into the ice becomes a problem of energy, reliability, and time. To reach the ocean, you do not just need courage. You need machines that survive everything first. Drills must work in extreme cold, under radiation, across long delays, with almost no room for failure. A cryobot descending through the ice would be carrying a mission through one of the harshest interfaces nearby. And even if it succeeds, the surface above remains hostile to the system supporting it. Europa does not simply challenge exploration. It challenges continuity. Can power last? Can communications survive? Can the platform remain stable long enough to matter? Those questions are what turn Europa from a dream into an engineering trial. Because unlike a dramatic disaster, real missions usually fail through accumulation. A little too much exposure, a little too much delay, a little too much energy lost. And on Europa, there are very few forgiving margins. That is why the most realistic future on Europa probably belongs to robots, not people. Machines can endure conditions that make no emotional sense for a human body. They can wait in silence, take damage slowly, and do precise work without needing hope. A robotic probe can cross the surface, sample the ice, and descend where no human should. A human base, by contrast, would spend much of its existence just defending itself. Shielding would need mass. Power would need reliability. Every exposed system would need redundancy. And all of it would exist on a moon already trying to shorten your timeline. Even rescue is part of the horror here, because Jupiter's system is not forgiving to logistics. Europa is not close in the emotional sense. It is not a place you can improvise around. Every mission there would be planned around limits, delays, and the cost of being wrong. That is what kills the fantasy of easy human presence. Not one spectacular threat, but many hard realities pressing at once. Radiation, vacuum, ice, distance, power, delay, fragility, exposure. Each one alone is a problem. Together, they define the moon. And they turn Europa from a dream of discovery into a test of restraint. Still, none of this makes Europa less beautiful. If anything, the danger sharpens the beauty and gives it weight. The bright ice, the dark fractures, the ocean below, Jupiter above. It all feels almost mythic. But Europa is not a myth. It is a real place with real physics. And real physics is what makes it so frightening. Because the moon does not hate us. It does not even notice us. It simply exists in a state that strips away nearly every human advantage. No atmosphere to help you. No warmth to comfort you. No surface life to accompany you. Only ice, radiation, gravity, and the possibility of something deeper that may never meet us. That is what Europa really is. Not a destination for us, but a boundary. A place where science becomes more ambitious than survival. A place where the search for life may depend on machines entering where bodies cannot remain. A place so beautiful that it almost makes you forget how lethal it is. And that may be the most unsettling truth of all. Europa is not just an ocean world. It is a warning that the most promising places may never be ours.